Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, government announces plans to restructure about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis in legacy debt owed by the Ghana Cocoa Board.
Further directed that the minister responsible for finance, myself, to urgently seek parliamentary approval for the following. 1, to convert the legacy debt of about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis owed to the Ministry of Finance.
Also coming up, Ghana Statistical Service insists 3.8% inflation rate reflects market reality. And with consumption doubling after 2 decades of National Chocolate Week, cocoa processing companies spices up this year's celebration with a nationwide chocolate buy challenge.
Involve also the young ones, the Gen Zs and Alphas, and so we'll be pitched strongly at the University of Ghana campus to celebrate with the students.
My name is Daryl Kwao. Details coming up. Well, first up, government has announced plans to restructure about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis in legacy debt owed by the Ghana Cocoa Board to the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance as part of sweeping reforms to stabilize the cocoa sector. James Ishen has more in this report.
Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, Finance Minister Dr. Atuforsen said the move is aimed at restoring Cocoa Board's financial health and improving its balance sheet.
An agreement has been reached on the immediate implementation of this policy. In order to address the indebtedness inherited by the current management of Ghana Cocoa Board, Cabinet has further directed that the minister responsible for finance, myself, to urgently seek parliamentary approval for the following. 1, to convert the legacy debt of about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis owed to the Ministry of Finance and Bank of Ghana. Cocoa Board currently owes the Ministry of Finance 3.7 billion Ghana cedis, which arose from the conversion of non-marketable cocoa bills into a loan.
Dr. Forsen stressed that the reforms are designed to refocus Cocoa Board strictly on cocoa production, regulation, and marketing while restoring discipline to its finances.
Cabinet also noted that road construction accounts for a significant part of the financial difficulties that Cocoa Board is facing at the moment. Pursuant to the earlier announcement that I made in the course of last year, the new cocoa bill that is going to Parliament will now prohibit Cocoa Board from such quasi-fiscal expenditures and other non-core expenditures going forward. And it will come with punishment if they ever do so.
In a related development, the Finance Minister further indicated that the Office of the Attorney General will commence a forensic and criminal audit of Cocoa Board's activities over the past 8 years.
Cabinet also directed the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years. And I repeat, Cabinet also directed the Office of the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years.
The debt conversion is expected to complement new financing arrangements and policy measures aimed at improving efficiency across Ghana's cocoa value chain.
All right, my colleague Isaac Atasenyaku joins me here to shed more light on reforms announced by the Finance Minister. What do we have, Isaac?
Well, Daryl, a number of things were announced yesterday at the press conference. I mean, major amongst these things that were announced is the refinancing model, or the financing model that has been remodeled by the Finance Ministry to help that ensure that Cocoa Board does not return to its dark days again. And so what? First of all, before that, there was a direction for immediate repayment of all, monies owed farmers. That's key. I mean, it's been a major concern in the past couple of weeks. Again, the new farm gate reduced to 41,392, which translates to mean that around 2,500 cedis per bag. Now, if we move on to the automatic producer price adjustment, now Cocoa Board is saying that, you know, depending on syndicated loans and depending on others who would fund the purchase of cocoa, now they're introducing this new automatic price adjustment, which will intend, or depending on exchange rate and then also the prevailing market prices, determine a price which will be automatic. So there will be no committee sitting at the end of the day to decide how much we decide, which some politicians have said that, you know, there are a number of influences in there and all of that. So all of these measures are being put in place to ensure that the farmer gets what they need. Now, as part of the measures announced, you know, also, a key part of it will be the fact that the remaining cocoa beans will be sold to processing companies. Right. Now, some have raised questions, Darryl.
No, I just want us to see the next slide if we can.
Maybe we can see the next slide. But before we get there, so now new Cocoa Board bill to guarantee farmers at least 70% of their gross free on-board price. So with this current, you know, reduction in price, this is about 90% of the, you know, FOB price. And so the new one says it won't go below 70% of that FOB price. Again, buyer-dependent finance model to be scrapped. That's what I was talking about. So the new automatic price adjustment model is supposed to eliminate the buyer-dependent model, where, you know, we don't know yet how government intends to do this, whether it's going to, you know, do some indexation on the stock market for us to monitor periodically what the price of cocoa is, or how government intends to buy from the farm. But they are saying that the new bill that will be presented to Parliament will do this.
And next, borrowing.
Again, yes, a key part of this. And so, yeah, the bonds. Now, the question with the bonds is whether domestic bonds is enough, or we should turn towards the, you know, the foreign markets because of the foreign exchange, you know, bit in cocoa finances, which is also key to the Ghana's economy.
Which we have seen play out in this instance.
Exactly. And so what? The new financing model to revive indigenous license buying companies, LBCs as well as the PBCs. Again, they are saying that in the new bill presented to Parliament, I mean, it will strengthen indigenous buying companies and also cocoa processing company. There's been a lot of talk about processing cocoa here, right here, and selling. And so government is saying that going forward, they will ensure that local processors, especially cocoa processing company, will have a chunk of cocoa beans to process, sell, and maybe raking some, you know, foreign exchange for the country, Darryl.
Do we have infrastructure for that?
Well, we are yet to know what government's plan is on the rollout. I mean, the bill is yet to be put together, I believe, and then also to be presented to Parliament. And so I'm sure all of those details will be in that bill that will be presented to Parliament in the near future.
Thank you for updating us on the major cocoa sector reforms announced by the government.
No worries.
Tomorrow is Val's Day. Be good, I think.
Tomorrow is Chocolate Day, Darryl.
All right, it's a whole week. In fact, that's our next story. Now, as demand for locally made chocolate rises, Cocoa Processing Company is scaling up production to meet growing appetite at home and across Africa. With consumption doubling after 2 decades of National Chocolate Week, CPC has spiced up this year's celebration with a nationwide chocolate bite challenge, broader regional reach, and youth-focused activations. Sales and marketing manager of Cocoa Processing Company, Nana Ajmaya Anson, disclosed this in an interview in Tema. Kwame Yanka has more in this report.
Ghana redefined Valentine's Day as National Chocolate Week. For 21 years, the Cocoa Processing Company has leveraged this platform to promote local consumption. Per capita chocolate consumption has climbed from 0.5 kilogram to 1 kilogram annually, with a new target to double the figure. This year, the campaign moves beyond the traditional hubs of Accra and Kumasi, extending into all regional capitals to guarantee access, affordability, and nationwide participation. Activities began with the February 11 launch at Nationalism Park, building momentum through university campus engagement and a nationwide chocolate bite challenge, all aimed at deepening patronage, particularly among the youth. Here is Sales and Marketing Manager of Cocoa Processing Company, Nana Ajmaya Anson.
And whilst doing this, we also want to involve also the young ones, the Gen Zs and Alphas. And so we'll be pitched strongly at the University of Ghana campus to celebrate with the students. Again, we will also pitch at Accra Mall, where we will team up with the salsa group. And so we expect to see everybody there to come and buy chocolate and do some salsa dance and entertain yourself and enjoy your days. We hope to also work with the government. So we intend to also give every parliamentarian a bar of chocolate at Parliament for them also to enjoy as our leaders of this country, and also possibly use that occasion to encourage every Ghanaian to consume cocoa-based products. We also hope to be at the University of Professional Studies, and then we will be in all the regional capitals.
Meanwhile, Nana Juman Anson touches on the Chocolate Bite Challenge.
Again, we are doing something that this year on social media where we're doing a Chocolate Bite Challenge. And we want to give all Ghanaians the opportunity to take a bite and post it. Who knows, you might win a very beautiful hamper or beautiful gift from Cocoa Processing Company. And so I'm using the occasion to encourage everybody to buy a Golden Tree chocolate and take a bite. And it's a bite challenge. And then let us have it. And we are doing all of this because we want to still come out as an African giant producing chocolate for the whole of the African continent. Our target is to take over the whole of Africa. We're presently in Togo, in Benin, parts of Nigeria, and we are also in Kenya and developing the South African market.
For the Cocoa Processing Company, National Chocolate Week has grown from sweet bite to nationwide celebrations, showcasing pride, production, and Ghana's role in shaping Africa's chocolate future. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy Business.
Now, the Ghana Statistical Service says the current inflation rate accurately reflects economic conditions on the ground. This follows concerns over the sharp decline in inflation from over 20% last year to 3.8% in January, with some observers questioning the credibility of the figures. However, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu maintained that the data reflects actual market developments.
Only one body in Ghana, which is the Ghana Statistical Service, that goes around all these markets, in all these regions, in all these outlets to collect the prices. So, all other things being equal, an individual or a body that has not done this exercise cannot claim to have data which is better than the data the Ghana Statistical, especially when the Ghana Statistical Service is observing all the ethical standards. I just walked you through the processes, we use to collect the data and all that. I don't know if you get the point I mean. Exactly. So I think there's a lot of illusion, and we should take our time to understand, how inflation is interpreted. Let me give you another example. Do you know that sometimes somebody's cost of living has worsened? Yeah. And because the cost of living has worsened, and you say, oh, inflation has come down, I say, how? But inflation has come down. So, but you say inflation has come down, but my cost of living has worsened. Yeah. So your numbers are not right. So I tell that person that, look, inflation is not cost of living. Inflation is just one of the things that goes into the computation of cost of living. There are many other things.
Turning to other news, MTN Ghana has reinforced its commitment to climate action by donating to the Ministry of Climate Change and Sustainability while pledging deeper collaboration to support the establishment of a proposed climate and sustainability hub in Ghana. Here's more.
MTN Ghana has honored its earlier pledge to support the Ministry of Climate Change and Sustainability with donations including computers, projectors and other equipment in a bid to reinforce its commitment to sustainability. During the visit, Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Seydou Issoufou, disclosed plans to establish a climate and sustainability hub to drive climate action in Ghana and the SAP region.
We have to have a national coordinating body. So we're saying that let's have a hub, climate and sustainability hub. That hub is supposed to drive climate action in Ghana, building capacity, opening the doors for research, opening the doors for capacity building, so that we can have a one-stop center of excellence for climate action in Ghana. And the vision is that we look at that hub not to serve Ghana alone. We're looking at it to be able to serve the sub-region.
He also invited MTN to second a technical expert to the ministry's team to strengthen knowledge sharing between the public and private sectors.
So what we did in this office was to establish this technical working group made up of representations from all ministries, and we'll meet once every month. And that also gave me the opportunity to understand the sectoral initiatives that are being taken by these ministries, sensitive ministries. I want to use this opportunity to throw a challenge to you to nominate a representative to be in this technical working committee. And that gives us an opportunity for you to also tell us what you are doing as an institution.
Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer of MTN Ghana, Ajwa Riafe, welcomed the invitation and reaffirmed MTN's readiness to continuously support the ministry's sustainability efforts.
This is a new ministry, but we really do appreciate that the work that they are doing and how they have started, and even the vision that the minister has for this ministry. We know that the work is big, and he needs all the support. And so for us to be invited to share our knowledge and also to learn from what is being done here, I think is something that we really do appreciate, and something that we'll take up and see how we can also give our best to be able to support the work that they do to ensure that they are successful.
The partnership highlights the growing collaboration between government and the private sector in advancing Ghana's climate agenda.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. Coming up, a lighter conversation on show business. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back. So Africa produces some of the most culturally influential creatives in the world. Yet beyond a small group of global stars, thousands of musicians, filmmakers, designers, and writers struggle to earn stable incomes from their craft. Today on Show Business, we are interrogating how to build a strong creative middle class, professionals who may not be famous, but can earn sustainable livelihoods from creativity. Joining me is culture journalist and creative economy analyst Kenneth Auchidako. Great to have you
happy to be
this
here.
afternoon. So what exactly is a middle class? Why is it important?
So imagine one artist, for instance, or an actor who maybe people may not have known about, and then starts in, for instance, their first movie role, and essentially or automatically they go viral. Everyone is talking about this particular actor everywhere. That one person is a superstar, but many people do not consider the dozens or hundreds of working professionals who were in the background working to ensure that that specific person was ready for that limelight moment. So even though that individual may be celebrated in that moment, the people around him, like the screenwriters, the casting directors, the movie directors, the fashion stylists who were also contributing to that person's fame, are the people that we consider as the creative middle class. So these are people that have those individual, talents as their profession. They have families to feed, they have rent to pay. They also employ people who also work under them to ensure that people such as this individual also have, that same readiness when the market comes for them and they get viral. So you notice that no, sustainable creative industry can really be sustained without the efforts of these individuals. So it's important that we recognize some of these people and also resource them to ensure that they're able to contribute to making some of these global stars that go viral.
Why is this layer so thin across Africa's creative industries?
So in Africa, for instance, we sort of reward visibility and virality. So it makes people not really recognize that some of these people are actually the framework that are behind these successes. And this is what makes it very difficult for people in these industries to get the recognition that they need. Elsewhere in the West, they are taken very seriously because it's understood that without their efforts, nothing that one, the face of that space will do that will be successful. They really need those people in their spaces. So it's unfortunate that they do not get that sort of recognition here. And some of the reasons are quite obvious because there's a lack of, support system for those spaces, because in Africa, for instance, some of these crafts are considered as hobbies. And so right from the jump, it is not seen as something serious, but it's taken very seriously elsewhere. And so that is why personalities in those spaces are earning from their work. For instance, when it comes to copyright issues, videographers, photographers, all of these people have to get that recognition to be able to earn income from whatever they create. So some of these people, when they are not recognized here, it makes it very, very difficult for them to make the sort of living that they have to be able to live up to. When they look at their counterparts elsewhere, they feel like they are lagging behind, but there's opportunity in there as well.
So what practical steps or structures should be in place so that we grow this middle layer?
So I think for me, there are three things. Access, the market is also another thing, and also, provision of grants, for instance. When I talk about access, you know that grants and funding are very key and pivotal in the space that the creative economy revolves around. People need money to be able to create some of the artworks that they create. They need money to be able to support the faces of the art that they put out there. And so access to grants, access to low rates in terms of loans, and also access to studio facilities to be able to create some of these activities. When it comes to market as well, you need to be able to be commissioned to be able to do some of these works. So brands, institutions, amongst others, should be able to reach out to those people to
20 seconds, if you can. Why should governments and investors care about building this creative middle class?
It is important because over the past few weeks, we have noticed how much of an importance the culture and the art space is important to the economy and the GDP. We talked about, last year we've had conversations around this area as well. So I think government should really go in there, resource some of these professionals, and also commission them to be able to do some of their work, and also give them the necessary protection that they need in terms of copyright, creating of infrastructure, and also providing them with spaces to make their work visible.
Thank you so much, Kenneth Auchidako there. I appreciate your time. Wanted to ask you about Bowers Day, but I won't. Money is on our website, myjohnline.com/business. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend.